Good morning, guys. Welcome to the channel, Divine Truth Tarot. This is our channel, our family, our community here, Divine Feminines, and we do have some Divine Masculines, but mainly Divine Feminines on the channel. But as always, Divine Masculines are always welcome. I'm going to do a video today for you guys because this is a pretty big week. Every week in 2020 has been big, but we're leading up to the 12/21 meetup of Saturn and Jupiter. And I'm sure I sound like a broken record, but it's a very important date, as you guys know. And because we are such evolved divine feminines who are on this path of self-love, self-acceptance, self-redemption, forgiveness, and wholeness, I wanted to just talk before we get into the cards here. I'm starting to realize the value of just talking with you guys and having the chat at the beginning of the reading that a lot of you have expressed that you really enjoy. I feel like this is important right now that we, it's like have a seat, grab a cup of coffee or some tea and just relax and let's have a fireside chat. That's what this feels like, is a fireside chat. I'm going to start calling these my fireside chats. And we're just going to talk. We're going to talk about the fear of what if union never happens. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying that I know a lot of you are past that fear, or maybe 90% past that fear. But what about that 10%? Because I would say I'm probably 90% okay with that. But there's that 10%, that ego, the personality that goes, ooh, that really hurts. And what if I never find, I was talking to another divine feminine the other day and she said, what if I never find anyone even, remotely as good as him? And so let's talk about that, because when fear is spoken of, when we express our fear, when we share our fears, guess what happens? They dissipate because they lose the power that they have over us. The only time shame or fear has power is when we don't speak it, when we don't share it. But when we can speak it and share it, it diffuses the energy, the power that emotion holds. Remembering that emotion is just energy. So think about it this way. If you were to focus all of your energy and attention and power on the present moment, how much more could you accomplish just in your day-to-day life? How much more could you accomplish at work, for your business or for the company you work for? How much more could you accomplish in your friendships, your family dynamic, or just in your own personal life and your goals and your dreams and the things that you want to fulfill in this lifetime, or just in this week or in this day or hour or this month or whatever it might be, the whole lifetime. So when we focus on the present moment, we don't feel the pain or the fear because we're enjoying our surroundings. We're letting our five senses really dip us into this place of gratitude. And, for instance, I'll share my morning this morning, which is pretty much every other morning. Let's get real. I am a cat lady. So, and I know several of you guys are because you've shared that with me. I spend my mornings, wake up and I've got to play with my kitties. Feed them, clean the litter boxes, and it's like the first thing I do before I even get my morning juice or smoothie or, breakfast is make sure that they're okay. So we did some playtime. We did about half an hour this morning of playtime and just loving on them and just giving them attention. And then I get started. And so I decide to be so present that nothing can take me out of that place of gratitude, that nothing can take me out of that place of being exactly where I am. Because on some level, we know, A, that everything is going to work out in the end. We know this. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. And on another level, B, we know that happiness resides in the moment. Joy can be more long-term. Happiness is more fleeting. But if you want happiness in that moment, be present in that moment for everything that's happening. Even if it's challenging, even if it's a sad moment, that's your life. These moments are your life. And so when we worry about what's the masculine doing, have they left the karmic? Are they coming forwards? It's almost like ruining the surprise, and the universe and our spirit guides are like, oh God, again? Can they just accept it? I've been saying this, and now I'm picking up on other readers saying it, which is so cool. I read it this morning from another reader that this is the final stretch, just like I've been saying. So we're all picking up on the same thing. It's the final stretch, and this is truly about being blindfolded and trusting yourself and having the things that your personality or ego relies on for this connection just removed one by one. The last thing they remove typically is the actual person and the 3D communication. Can you be okay? So a lot of you are going to experience in December if you're in communication. And I'm saying this out of love and power so that you understand what's happening. If you're in communication, a lot of you are going to fall out of communication, or you may have some tower moments. This is designed on purpose for your highest good, for the highest timeline. It doesn't look like we're jumping into the highest timeline on Earth. It looks like everything is collapsing, everything is falling apart, but it has to fall apart, the old order, so that the new order, the new Earth, can be revealed and can be birthed. So in reality, what looks like disaster is actually exactly what's supposed to transpire, in the way it's supposed to transpire, how it's supposed to transpire, when it's supposed to transpire, what is supposed to transpire. And the same thing is happening for these connections, these divine connections, be it higher level soulmates or twin flames, that we are all sort of experiencing the same thing as a collective. There's my Virgo OCD. I fully admit it, guys. And God, I'm so much more like my DM than I ever realized. This year, being in separation, I have realized how much I am like him. It's scary. I've started to text like him. I've started to I realize I have this very logical side, this blunt side. I'm like, oh my gosh, you are him. And also the face merge that we talked about a couple months ago, the face merge where it's like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to look like him more and more. Like your facial structure may be changing, the bones, the way they sit on your face, that may be changing as well. But also I feel like that's you merging in, into your starseed roots if you are a starseed. So a lot of us are starting to look like aliens a lot more, a lot more than we already did, than we already felt like. But now we don't feel like aliens on this earth because now we have our tribe. And now we know that actually, oh my gosh, there's so many people, thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, millions of people experiencing the same thing. So now we understand that we weren't crazy. We weren't, there wasn't something wrong with us. There was actually everything right with us. So how does this all tie into not allowing the fear to take over? Like, I think we need to feel the fear of losing the counterpart. We need to just feel it. Just feel into it. Really lay into it, okay? Lean into it. What would that feel like if you never talked to your counterpart again, never saw them again? Do this exercise, allow yourself to feel it, and then realize, I'm okay. Remember the gratitude. Remember the people in your life, the people that are supporting you, even if it's one person. Remember the friends that are seeing you through this. Remember all of your beloved divine feminines and masculines that are here supporting you on this channel. Remember my love. Remember that there's so much for us to be grateful for. We have a divine mission, each of us, to complete, and we're doing it separately, and we're also doing it together. You are part of a bigger whole. You matter so much. And so let's say your counterpart decides, I'm not getting with the program in this lifetime. Can you be okay with that? The irony, guys, is that when you get to that place where you're actually okay with not being with your counterpart, guess what happens? That's when they show up again, because the fear is gone, the codependency is gone. The need, not the want, but the need. You can still want them, but the need for them, I have to have them in my life. I can't survive without this person. That put this sort of, it repels energetically anyone. This is not just for twin flames. When we act like that or think like that or believe that, we're going to repel other lovers too. We're going to repel friends. We're going to repel people. Because nobody wants to feel like they have to be your savior, like they have to save you, like you're the only person in the world that for them. Like that's a scary thought. We need to be so independent and so sovereign that when the masculine does come back, we're like, oh, hey, it's good to see you. And that when you're in their presence the next time around, those of you who have been in this long-term separation, when you're in their presence the next time, you're not going to be so weak in the knees. It's going to be a more stable, solid love and connection and foundation where you're going to be able to stay in your power. So there's not going to be as many triggers. You guys have been working out the triggers all year. It's very triggering not to be in communication. It's very triggering to not be in communication and then to try to reach out and to have them basically ice you like an ice queen or ice king. It's very triggering. So many of us have been experiencing those little triggers because we were guided to reach out at points this year, and the masculines basically shut us down, or maybe they replied with 1 or 2 words, or we just didn't get the response that we felt like we needed. These were all lessons to serve us. It was all to serve us for our highest good, to lead us to this highest timeline. And many of you are now feeling almost apathetic. Many feminines are now feeling like, I can take it or leave it. I'm okay. It doesn't mean that you love your masculine any less. It doesn't mean that you don't want them. It's just you're at a place now where you've accepted. You've accepted. And when you accept, everything can fall into place. That's when we let go of the need. Let's say you have a goal to make $1 million in this lifetime. You want to be a millionaire. Fine. Why not? There's plenty of money in abundance to go around. When you let go and you just say, I just want to be abundant, and you let go of the number, you allow the universe to fit. It's like when we release, we create a hole, and the universe loves a hole. The universe loves emptiness, vastness, because it can fill that vastness with your wildest dreams. So that's what we're learning right now. I'm going to go into the cards. I've been talking here, yapping for 11 and a half minutes. If you're still with me, congratulations. But I think these are really important talks to have right now. So we're going to be shuffling the Elemental Oracle and the Animal Spirit, and then I have the Osho Zen Tarot. So let's start with the Animal Spirit deck and go ahead and just inviting in all of the benevolent beings. Maybe not all of them. That could be very overwhelming to try to channel that. But my guides, my entire light team, blue light beings, white light beings, my starseed family, ancestors, my highest self, the highest good, the highest timeline is all. May I be a clear vessel for communication, for clarity, and for understanding for the collective. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, Archangel Michael, my dude, we invite you in to create a sphere of protection, of loving, unconditional love, protection, and healing around this reading, myself, around everyone watching at any point in time. And we thank you. So this actually flipped out, interesting, Oyster, as I was shuffling the cards. So because this is a more complex deck, guys, I am going to use, just want to be transparent, I'm going to use the book here because this is a lot to memorize. And this is the author's interpretation of the animals as well. It's not like a universal interpretation. So, oh my gosh. Oyster, patience, secret keeper, hiding inner treasures. Wow, this is really beautiful, right? So think about it. What is the oyster? The oyster is protective. So when the oyster is out of balance, there's a gripping energy. Oh my gosh, beautiful, because we were just talking about this, right? There's a gripping energy. When the oyster is in balance, guess what? There's a feeling of gratitude, guys. Feeling of being a master of your life, a feeling of generosity, a feeling blessed. Beautiful. We were just talking about this. Thank you, Spirit, for the confirmation. So it says the focus and determination of the oyster is unmatched. Anything an oyster personality puts their mind to, they achieve with grace and charm. I just heard the Midas touch. The only problem is oyster types often take their inner gifts for granted. They can become shy or doubtful, and this can lead to withdrawing or protecting their deepest desires in life's work. It's important right now to reveal your inner treasures. What is it you've been hesitant to share? The world is waiting to see. That's a beautiful, special message for my divine feminines. So what is it that you've been sort of afraid to share, afraid to say, afraid to speak? It's that authentic truth. It's you being you. Now, I will say that I receive emails. I can't respond to all of them, but I read them. Unless they're nasty ones, they just get blocked and deleted. But the beautiful ones that I do receive, a lot of you are expressing, I want to start my own channel, or I wanted to start a blog, or I wanted to start this project, but I haven't had the faith, I haven't had the courage in myself. And what I want to say to that is do it. The time is now. You are fully supported by the universe. You are fully supported to step into your power and your gifts and your sovereignty. And, if you were born with gifts, you were born with those to change the world. That's part of your mission. Some people can sing, Some people draw, some people write, some people are great on stage, they're masters on stage. Some people are just people. Some people are great at fixing cars. Some people are great at finding clean water for people that don't have it in their country. There's so many different ways, and whatever that is for you. Maybe your gift is clairvoyancy, clairaudiency. Maybe your gift is healing. Maybe your gift is simply just being in a room and allowing your healing energy to pervade the room. Whatever it is, it's yours. And it's time to own it, guys. It's really time to own it. So interesting. Now we have octopus. So we have oyster and octopus. So we've got the water energies here. Okay, so octopus, reaching, yearning, lacking boundaries and direction. It's like the opposite of this. Okay. Got it. Okay, so when octopus is out of balance, it's needy and clingy, can lack courage. Remember we said let me get back to that. When oyster was out of balance, there was a sense of gripping, like a sense of holding on to something. It's like the same sort of energy. So when octopus energy is in balance, it's all about giving yourself space, trusting your time alone. It's a very engaging, intelligent energy, very talkative energy. I feel like it's linked into the Gemini lunar eclipse that we had on the 30th. It's very Gemini energy, like very chatty energy is what I'm getting from this card. So it says the octopus signifies a wonderfully receptive mind paired with a lack of healthy boundaries. Unfortunately, this results in well-intended but messy relationships. This is about cleaning up the codependency, okay, and setting those healthy boundaries, feminine. So more and more you will step into your power, you will speak your truth, and once you go to that place, you will never go back. There will never be a time where you go back and say, you know what, I don't need to have that boundary. You know what, I'm going to allow people to treat me this way. When you've set a boundary with your divine mirror, which is your counterpart, when you've set that boundary, there's no going back from that. So when you said, you know what, I know what I deserve, and this is not the feminine being mean. I don't need to clarify that for most of you, but just to clarify for any new followers, this is not the feminine being mean. This is her standing in her power. This is her having healthy boundaries. This is her healing codependency. And this is her honoring her truth, honoring what she needs, honoring who she is, not allowing people to walk all over her. And that includes the masculine. And it's not that the masculine intentionally wanted to hurt the feminine. There's a lot of programs at play. There's a lot of conditioning at play with the masculine energy, but it doesn't really necessarily matter if someone intended to do it or not. If they are crossing your boundaries or you're not getting what you want or need out of that relationship, it's time. It's time, feminine, to put up that door and say, you know what, this isn't okay anymore. And also, we don't want to accumulate more karma. So if your masculine is in a messy situation, okay, Spirit is just telling you like a messy situation, a karmic situation, especially if it's with a partner or family members or something, it's time to step back. It's time to retreat, because you're going to get entangled in their karma and in their drama. And this is actually going to create, it's like going to create a stalemate, but more than that, it's going to create a block in the connection. And it could potentially, the union portal is open until April. So it could potentially block that possibility. I'm not trying to scare you guys. I'm playing out possibilities because this is a collective reading. So those of you who are still tied into a masculine who is with a karmic partner, absolutely no judgment from myself or anybody else in the community, any true divine feminines, no judgments. Many of us have been there. But I want you guys to protect your energy. I want you to protect yourself. And I want you to know that if you need to put a boundary up in order to respect yourself, that you can do so. Yeah, it says the octopus entwines itself with other people's business and shares their own without restraint. They believe that that's what it means to be close. This is all about healing codependency. If you notice after spending time with someone that you feel drained or uneasy, the essence of the octopus is at play. So notice the people that drain you and notice the people in relationships that lift you up. If you're masculine, if being around them is draining, if talking to them right now while they're sorting out a messy karmic situation and while they're getting out of that situation, if that's draining you, step away and protect yourself. Okay, so let's look into tell me the masculine energy, both within and without, internal and external. Where's the masculine energy at? We have Beaver for the masculine energy. Interesting. Look, these are all earth. I'm sorry, water. That's not. Sorry. That would be water. This would be earth. I went to kindergarten, I swear. Actually, my mom is a retired kindergarten teacher. I went to a Montessori school, guys. Little fun fact about Sarah. I went to a Montessori school and up until 8th grade. And then I went to a magnet high school. And then I went to a regular college. So it was important to me because I was a first generation college student. So it was really important for me that I finish college, that I go to college, and that I really work hard. And then the irony, of course, is that I have no regrets, by the way, no regrets. College was incredible. I went to the University of Florida. It was an amazing school, amazing experience. Oh my gosh, I have fond memories of college. Like, I could cry. But it was important to me to start a legacy, right? To break the chain, the ancestral chain of not going to college. So I became the first person. And then my oldest brother, of course. My one brother went to sheet metal school. My oldest brother went to the Navy and is brilliant and was teaching nuclear power engineering at like 21 years old, having had no formal training, gone to a regular high school, just brilliant, probably genius level. Yeah, very much. And so we all did something different. We all did something, beautiful and what worked for us. But then the irony is that here I am, working for myself and doing cards. Who would have known, right? So let's get back to the Beaver card. Beaver card is... The masculines could be feeling really worn out at this time. The beavers work really hard, right? They're building the dam, they're chipping away. So it's hard worker. It's that hard working mentality. It's that workaholism. And but they could feel like they're not appreciated. And it's like they've been doing this for the family. They've been doing this because this is what they're supposed to do. Many of the masculines were working way too hard. Many of our masculines, very wealthy and very well-to-do, okay, as my mom would say, very well-to-do, and they haven't necessarily taken time for themselves to relax or to rest. I feel like 2020 has necessitated that for the masculine energy, both within us and the physical masculine. But, this is overall a good energy. Beavers, happy creatures, and there's a lot of love and enthusiasm for their family. So interesting. This is about how the masculine energy has historically provided for the feminine by, through work, through money, through bringing the money in. Okay. And this is about how they'll work until the job is finished. That's why I feel like it's taken the masculines quite some time to step out of these karmic relationships, is because they feel like it's like a sense of I'm failing. More than anyone, I'm failing myself and I'm failing my family, because they've worked so hard to create this stability. But the thing that they're missing is that their loyalty to a situation that doesn't actually serve them is causing them illness, is causing them dis-ease, it's causing them to get sick, it's causing them to be fatigued. And this is also a sign, the beaver energy saying that this is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And this is long-term steady effort that's required on the masculine's part to break free from this conditioning. So let's pull out the Osho. Interesting, I also got the otter for masculine, so we'll look into that. But I want to just clarify. So Spirit, can you clarify what is going on with the Beaver card? Like, what is going on the masculines who were workaholics Well, okay, so the masculine energy also got otter and spider. So let's pull these out. So it's interesting because it's like the feminine's got these two water cards. The masculine's got this earth element. Okay, this is all about the pentacles energy. It's all about the 3D. But I feel, and these are similar, similar. And so I feel like with the spider card here, it's like weaving the web and drawing the feminine in, the feminine being drawn in. So the masculine knows the value of hard work. There's no doubt about that. But it's like to a fault, right? And to the detriment of their own health and well-being. And I feel like the spider card here is saying it can be more effortless than that, masculine. It can be more effortless. Look at the beauty, look at the intricacy, look at the art here. But it doesn't have to be such serious work. Let's go ahead. I'll come back to this. I know I'm all over the place a little bit, guys. I'm sorry, but sometimes that's usually actually how channeling just happens and works. Okay, so let me look at spider. Creative prosperity. Yeah, definitely more 3D energy. So creative prosperity through life's work. But this is about living your dharma. This is about your life's mission and purpose. So this is about stepping out for the masculines, stepping out of the beaver energy, stepping into this energy of prosperity by living by working authentically and by bringing in authenticity into the work that they do. So many masculines have been or will be in 2021 stepping out of those old paradigms of workaholism and working just because they need to make the money because it pays well, and stepping into something that feels right for them, that is more in alignment with who they are, much to the detriment of any karmic influences in their life who aren't going to be like, what are you doing? What are you talking about? Why are you doing this? Why are you're supposed to bring home the bacon, quote unquote, vegan bacon. You're supposed to bring home the money. Like, what do you mean you want to go like play in the islands and like, take people on a dolphin tour? Like, what are you talking about? But the masculines are going to be following their bliss a lot more. So let me look up otter and then unobstructed joy, of course, playfulness, contentment. So it's like, can you see the progression for the masculines? It's like, okay, it's like they were in this energy. I got to work hard, right? Work hard. Life is hard. Work hard to make the money, and you have to provide, and you can't really have that much fun. But there is a happiness with beaver. And then it's like, okay, now they're getting into the energy of prosperity and abundance and living their life's dharma. And actually, what is the mark and the legacy that I want to leave? It wasn't in their current jobs and their current situations. I guarantee you that. They've been very unsettled and very unhappy, no matter what they were saying in the 3D. My masculine would contradict himself all the time and say he was happy with, oh, I love my job. And I was like, really? Okay. And I would just kind of listen. And then the next sentence, it would be, oh, I think I want to do this. Or I think, you're so lucky that, you found, I don't know if he ever used the word purpose, but it was like there was an envy that I wasn't working the 9 to 5, that I had gotten out of the rat race. There was definitely an envy because he felt like he was stuck in that. But the masculines made the 3D so prominent and so important, and that's why they felt like they had to stay in those jobs. They had to make the money. But a lot of that has fallen away in 2020 and will continue to fall away. The new world order is definitely not about money. It's not about possession. You're going to see a lot of things change. You're going to see, I've barely worn makeup this whole year, and I didn't wear a lot of it anyway, guys, and I'm 41. Like, I'm definitely, you notice the changes, right? Even though I eat healthy and, practice yoga and all of those things, I'm noticing the changes in my appearance. And yet it's almost like it feels like I'm wearing a mask if I feel makeup. By the way, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with wearing makeup. I was never really good at putting it on. If someone wanted to do it for me every day, I'd probably wear a little bit. But it's like a task for me. It became too much. So I tend to go with a bare face and a little sunscreen. And, I have my serums and stuff. And I think a lot of feminines are feeling that. And by the way, if you're not, no big deal. That's amazing. Good for you for having the energy to put on makeup every day. Good for you for knowing how to put it on. I stab myself in the eye every time I try to put on eyeliner. But this is not judgment. This is just saying, this is just what I'm seeing, is that a lot of feminines are going to step away from like the idea that, you know, and many of us have been sort of progressing along this path for a while. All of a sudden, clothes, brand name clothes, aren't going to matter. And it's going to be more about comfort. It's going to be less about appearance and more about your energy, your essence, your mind. And that's such a beautiful thing. The masculines, even if they're like really attracted to the feminine, the thing that attracted them first to you, and I'm telling you from the mouth of my own masculine, was, I didn't even know that you had this, you know, that you were fit. Like, I didn't even know that. I was attracted to you. And that blew me away, because I don't think I'd ever heard a male say that. Never. And it was just like, wow, that's an original thought. That's an original experience to have. And I don't think I believed him at first, but he said it a couple times, you know, throughout when we were in communication. You know, I saw you and I listened to what you were saying, and everything else was a bonus. So, but I digress. But the point I'm making here is that the masculine's moving away from this energy of like work, and no play and no happiness, and not really getting even to enjoy the fruits of their labor, to realizing, oh, my life is a masterpiece, and I can create prosperity, and I can actually live my mission and help people and do what I want and still live a good life. And I don't have to have the fancy sports cars. I don't have to have the $1 million home. I don't have to have, you know, fancy clothes to show for it. Like, I can just actually enjoy life. So getting back to the basics. And this, you know, otter, God, they're so cute, guys. If you haven't seen them, they sleep holding hands so they don't float away from each other. They're fun to watch. They're an absolute joy. They're playful. They're loving. They're just, the energy is inspiring. So they're full of love, and they don't need anything to be happy. Like, they're just happy. Otter energy is beautiful. So masculine energy moving into this place of contentment, unobstructed joy, playfulness. And this is probably the most playful spirit, the most joyful spirit and animal out of this entire deck, out of any of the animals. And there's just a giddiness. And you will not find a trace of fear or doubt or worry or skepticism in the otter energy. So this is the masculine shaping their lives now and saying, what do I want my life to look like? What would it take for me to create that in my life? And this is the spider energy, weaving the web of they're realizing they're in control, and they can weave this web however they see fit. There's a celebration energy here that's awaiting. And then, guys, to clarify the beaver, I did get the 10 of Cups here from the Osho Zen Tarot. So we have the 10 of Cups energy, absolute joy. I mean, dolphins, joy, playfulness, very similar energy to the otter. And of course, we know 10 of Cups is about happiness, right? 10 of Cups is happiness, unobstructed joy, just like the otter energy. So interesting to see the progression here play out, and interesting to see how much information we can get just from the animal cards. 3 of Pentacles. Oh, the Empress. Sorry, took me a minute. These cards aren't illustrated like a regular tarot deck. This is the Empress, creativity. So the feminine sitting over here in the energy of the Empress, the masculine's moving into the space of the 10 of Cups. Guys, I know that I'm focusing on the feminines and focusing on what to do to assist you, but I also want to say that the energies coming in is union energy. I can't deny that. And I watched a reader last night. I can't think of her name off the top of my head, but she's very similar energy to me in some ways, but just is basically not going to say something just to say it. She's not going to say, oh, wedding and union. So when we do say it, it's not to be taken lightly. If I'm feeling it, that's what's coming in. I mean, when you have the Empress and the 10 of Cups show up together, that's pretty self-explanatory. There's a celebration to be had. There's love. There's joy. Okay, it's the feminine regarding herself or himself as the Empress. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. You guys know that by now. It's just energy. And it is the masculine also seeing the feminine in this light. potentially for the first time for some of the masculines, if they were really in distortion or, obstructed clairvoyance, many of the gifts coming online. And we have the magician energy here as well, just in the union energy of questioning your existence. And so this is what's leading the masculine to make these necessary changes in their lives. We do have the Two of Swords and the Eight of Swords. Interesting. So I'm going to clarify these energies. Spirit, can you clarify the Two of Swords and the Eight of Swords, please? Because these are similar energies. Interesting. So we've got the Master, which is a card that's unique to this deck. And I just see this as becoming the master of your own mind. We have the Two of Cups, okay, which is union. And then we have the Ten of Wands, which is like burdened. Yeah, feeling suppressed burdens, carrying the burden on your back. This is what needs to be overcome to get to this, okay? So the Two of Swords, in between like decisions, not being able to make up your mind, feeling torn. The Eight of Swords is basically you feel blindfolded and you can't make a decision. It's like, it's feeling like, it's indecisiveness, and it's also feeling like you're frozen, feeling like you absolutely, where the masculines were, okay? Where the masculines were in the past, not necessarily where they are. So in order to get to union, in order to become the master of your own mind, this is really about taming the ego. Masculines are having to tame the ego, but this is also about the feminines not having faith and doubting and not trusting their own mind. Your mind can be your own worst enemy. So this is representing both masculine and feminine energy, especially the introduction when I was talking about the fear of not coming into union. These energies are definitely playing out, and is a fear. And then the Ten of Wands, again, burdens, just feeling the burden of having to carry all of this on your own. It's like both of you feeling sort of alienated from the other and feeling like, am I going to have to do this life alone? Right? Am I going to have to do all this? Like, is this really ever going to happen? Feminines, of course we've been there. Is this really going to happen? We hear about it, but we're not seeing it. Where is it? There is a cleansing that will wash away the uncertainties and the fears, okay, of the Two of Swords and the Eight of Swords. Taking the blindfold off, realizing you were the one blindfolding yourself, that your ego was basically, the leader of the show. Okay, and what will clear out those energies leading to becoming a master of your emotions, master of your mind, master of your own existence, and the union energy. What is helping to clear out those stagnant energies? Hi, Charlie. Clarity. Clarity will be brought in. So this is the opposite of the Two of Swords and Eight of Swords, clarity. So clarity is what's going to come in. Yeah, we have clarity. Interesting water elements, right? Ice and water. So clarity and just a cleansing element. Anything else, Spirit? Animals again. As I'm talking to Charlie, animals. This is the answer. This is the answer to everything. If everyone just adopts an animal, we're going to change the world. We're going to have world peace. Everyone's going to be happy. Adopt an animal, guys. It's all. I'm done. I just love how that card's coming up over and over. Animals are playing a significant role in shifting the vibration of the planet. We know this, absolutely. And, okay. Spirit, tell me what the feminines can do to release the fear, ego. Well, interesting. We have the Lovers and then we have Temperance. This is a Temperance card. Balance. Balancing inner union. You want outer union? Master inner union. You want this? Master this. Okay? You can attain this, but first you have to attain this. And this is, the Lover's energy. This, to me, is a choice card. Kind of like the Chariot. It's a choice. And this is going to be for the feminines, I feel, a choice between your sovereignty and a choice between opening the door again to your counterpart. It's a choice. It's not good or bad. It's not here or there. It's not tossing out the masculine. It is honoring yourself. And is the masculine coming in correct? Okay? So we're going to end the reading there, guys. I'm really hungry. I haven't had breakfast. Send you guys lots of love and light, and I will see you so soon. Have a great start to your week.